Hello, Megan. I've got your special assignment program here that you would ask for help. And I don't know if we ever got to talk about it in class now. It's been a week or two, and I don't remember what we did with that, but I want to give you this video. And I'm not even going to grade this. I'm going to just reopen it and let you resubmit it because I know you didn't hardly get much done on it. But let's look at what's here. So looking at your template, I see you just have 3 print statements and 1 input statement. And you said that's where you got stuck. So it said put a question for people to respond to, could be used for surveys. You got stuck on line 4. All right, so let's look what the program has to have. This is the parameters of the program. These are the guidelines you have to use when you're writing the program. Use Python idle. Using comments, put your name, date, and a short description. You actually did it with print statements, not comments. And I'll show you the difference there in just a second. Then we're supposed to have 2 input statements. So you have 1, but you have the user enter 2 integers. And the one you designed is asking for a number. So it's asking for an integer. How many books do you plan on reading? That's great. That's an integer. But you need another one. And then you've got to add them together. So whatever numbers they enter, you add them together, and then you print a sentence that has the results, right? Adding those numbers together. Then you make sure you have your main statement. You'll use the indentation, fix any errors. So I've got your program here pasted into a Python window. And if we run it, how many books do you plan on reading? I'll say 6. And all it does right now is print your 3 print statements. Megan King, 10/20/24, how many books will you read? But as I said, it said that you could do that with comments. So instead of a print, a comment in Python is just a hashtag, a number sign. That tells Python, hey, totally ignore this line. There's no code here. There's no code. This is only something people could read, not computers. So now when I run it, it won't print anything because I took the print statements out and made those comments. And then you don't have that main function. We need to define our main function, telling Python, this is where my program starts. And then I have to define everything in it. And then at the end, you have to end your main function. If we don't have this, the program won't run at all. It'll just wait to see where the end is going to be. So this should be at the beginning of your main part of your program. This should be at the end of your program. Every time. Got to have our main function. So now let's just run what's there. It says how many books? 6. Now, the reason it didn't do anything is because we didn't tell it to do anything. But here's the problem I see right now. You have this input, which is great, and it's asking how many books you plan on reading this semester. But you didn't save that. I mean, if I wanted to print that, let me print what they put there. Print. What am I supposed to print? I didn't save this. So if I said like books 1, because this is first semester, equal. Oh, so now look, whatever they input now is being saved in this variable. So I could print books 1. So if I enter 55, it prints 55 because I saved it and printed out what they gave me. But here's another issue is if we want this to be a number, we have to tell it it's an integer. So at the beginning here, we got to say, look, this is an integer. We're going to use that int command. So now it knows, okay, this is not a word that they're entering. This is actually a number that's being entered here. So it'll treat it differently. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Let's say this books 2 is another input statement because we're going to have another input statement, right? Input, enter second semester plan, or planned books or whatever you want to call this. That's not really very nicely said, but run program, 55 books, 12 in the second semester. And all I told it to do is print books 1. Let me delete that. We'll change that in a second. So if I go here now, I said I want to add these together, right? So total books, and I'll capitalize books there. Total books equals books 1 plus books 2. Because remember, part of our instructions are add the two integers together, display the results to the screen. I should put a sentence here that says the total number of books you plan to read is, and then print total books. If I don't tell it's an integer, I'm going to take that off. All right. It just says input number of books in your second semester plan books. Let's say I enter 55 and then I enter 12, and then it added them together and it printed the total number of books planned to read is 5,512. See what it did? It just added the 55 and the 12 like they were letters. Like they were letters. Because I could have entered hi there, and it's going to say it's hi there. Because it doesn't know these are numbers, so it's not treating them like numbers. It's treating them like we don't want to just concatenate two words together. So if we go into the front of these and say these are integers, these are not just words they're entering. These are integers. And I have to put all of that in quotes, put the whole input statement inside the parentheses. Now it's going to be very, very different when it adds them together. If I do that 55 and 12, oh, we ran into an error. That's one thing. Python cannot print letters and numbers on the same line. That's what it says. I cannot concatenate a string and an integer on the same line. I can't print those on the same line. So if we go in here and say, okay, I know this is a number, but act like, let's pretend it's letters. It's a string of letters. So print this string of letters and print this string of letters, wink, wink. Now if I do that, 55 and 12, it actually added them together because it knows really that they are numbers. 67. All right. And then we have our ending main statement. So it's a very simple program in the fact that you're just finding some reason for people to enter two numbers, which you had one reason already. How many books you plan on reading this semester? There's your first integer. You need an input statement for the second integer. Then you just need to add those two numbers together and then print the sentence that says, oh, here's your total. That's as simple as this one is. Very, very basic math assignment. Take two numbers, add them together, and print the answer. All right. So I'm going to give you this feedback. You can redo the program in your template and just let me know in Buzz or wherever, hey, I've got that redone, and then I'll grade it. Right now, there's not much to grade because you got a lot of things missing. So I'm going to wait until you get a much better program so it'll help your grade much more. So, all right. Got any questions, let me know.